Guys, and welcome back to my channel. So for today's video I'm going to be doing the one dip makeup challenge. If you enjoy this video, please smash a huge thumbs up, and other than that, let's get into the video. Before I start, I would just like to apologise for the background. We are actually in the middle of moving house, so nowhere in the house actually has an aesthetically pleasing background, so this is going to have to do for now, guys. So for moisturiser, I'm actually going to be using the Revolution SPF 30 moisturiser. So okay, there's actually a lot of product on the lid. Okay, that's quite a lot, but that is my dip. Just going to apply this to my face. Okay, so for this video I was actually worried about not having enough product to put on my face, but I seem to have too much. Okay, so that is the moisturiser applied. Now for primer, I'm actually going to be using the NYX Honey Dew Me Up because it's the only primer I have that has actually got a dippy applicator. Okay, so I'm going to need to take a big dip with this. Okay. Just going to apply this all over my face. Oh no, it's not going to be enough. Come on, spread. Okay, I think that is the best I'm going to have for primer. So for foundation, I don't actually own one that has a dippy applicator, so I'm going to be using the Milani Conceal and Perfect 2-in-1 in the shade Light Beige, and to avoid cheating I'm just going to be using one pump of this and hope it spreads everywhere. Okay, and that's my pump. Now I'm just hoping it's going to be enough to spread all over my face. Okay, I'm going to take my beauty blender and just try and blend this out. So that is the foundation applied. As you can see, I still have a lot of blemishes that the foundation actually hasn't covered up. However, I think that might be because I've only put one pump on, whereas normally I'll probably put two on my face just to give it a bit of extra coverage. Here. So for concealer, I'm going to be using the Revolution Conceal and Define in shade C 2.5. It's got that really irritating packaging that you just can't get into. I'll be back in just a second.
A few moments later.
So I finally managed to get it open. Okay, so that is my dip. Come on, please spread. I don't know which areas to focus on, probably my forehead because it needs some more coverage. Okay, so I've managed to get a lot of product out of that one dip, whereas normally I would dip into it loads of times. So I'm now just going to blend this out. Okay, so the concealer isn't actually wanting to blend out nicely over the top of this foundation, which is a bit frustrating. So that is the concealer all blended out, so I'm now going to move on to contour. So for contour, I'm actually going to be testing out the Huda Beauty Contour and Bronzer Cream in shade Light, and I feel like it's going to be too light for my skin tone. However, I'm just going to go with it and see what happens. So I'm just dipping into it with my finger. Okay, and that is my dip. Yeah, so I didn't get as much product out of that as I hoped, so now I'm just going to blend it in. So for powder, I usually use the Revolution setting powder in the shade Banana Light to bake under my eyes and then just under my contour as well. So to apply this, I'm just going to put a bit on here, like that. And then I'm just going to dip into it once with this little sponge. Okay, so that is my dip, and I'm just going to apply this. And it's gone all over my top. Okay, so I could have done with a bit more, but we're going to go with it. Trust the process. So whilst my face is baking, I'm going to move on and do my eyebrows, and I'm actually going to be using the Anastasia Dip Brow in the shade of Soft Brown because I can dip into it. So I'm just going to dip in like that. Okay, got quite a lot on there. So that's my dip. Okay, so far so good. I'm actually surprised at how well the pomade is spreading, because usually I dip into it a lot. It is one thing I can take away from this challenge, is that a little actually does go a long way. Okay, so that is the pomade applied. I'm now just going to set my brows using the Anastasia Brow Gel in the shade Soft Brown. Okay, so moving on, I'm just going to dust off the setting powder that I used earlier on in this video. And I'm going to set the rest of my face with the Maybelline Fit Me powder. So, I'm just going to take a big dip, come on. Oh, it's quite a lot. Okay, so that is my dip. I'm just going to put this all over my face. So for bronzer, I'm going to be using the NYX Matte Bronzer in the shade Medium. And I've actually smashed this, so I can't tip it towards the camera too much. However, that is my one dip. And I'm just going to apply this as evenly as I can. Okay, so straight away I can tell that I need a bit more on my forehead just to darken it up a bit, but... Okay, so moving on for blush, I'm going to be using the NYX Sweet Cheeks blush. I'm just going to take my dip. Does that count as 2 dips? Okay, so that was enough. More than enough, I think. Okay, so moving on for highlight, I'm going to be using the Soap & Revolution highlighter palette. If I can get into it. Here we go. And I'm going to be using this shade here. Okay, so that is my one dip. Okay, that applied really, really well. So it came through. So for eyeshadow, I'm actually going to be testing the Huda Beauty Ruby Obsessions palette. Now this palette is absolutely gorgeous. I'm so excited to try it. So I think I'm going to dip into this colour here first. Just want to make sure I get a lot on the brush. Okay, so that's my dip. I'm just going to apply this in my crease. Okay, so I definitely would like to have dipped into that colour a bit more just to darken it up a bit. But moving on. Okay, so I'm just going to take the same brush and I'm going to dip into this dark purple maroon colour. I'm just going to apply this to my outer corners. Okay, so the first thing I'm noticing is there's quite a bit of fallout on my face. I'm just going to dust away the fallout. Okay, so I'm just going to take a slightly bigger brush. I'm just going to dip into this shade here. And I'm just going to use this to blend out the eyeshadow. Okay, so now I'm actually going to put a bit of concealer on. Just dip into it once. Just so I've got a base for the glitter shadows to stick to. Okay, so that is the concealer applied. So I'm just going to dip into this glittery shade here using this brush. I'm just going to apply this on top of the concealer. Okay, so realistically I would apply some more of this glittery shade on top. However, with this challenge I can't. I'm just going to take the blending brush that I used earlier. I'm not dipping into any more product. I'm just going to try and blend the dark shade and the glitter together. Okay, so for my lower lash line, I think I'm actually going to take this shade here. And I'm just going to rub my brush in there. I'm just going to apply that to both my lower lash lines. And I'm just going to take this glittery shade here and apply that to my lower lash line as well. Okay, so that is the eyeshadow complete. These shades are absolutely stunning. I just wish I could have dipped into the glittery shades a bit more. Okay, so moving on, I'm going to apply some mascara, and I've just got to hope that this one dip is going to be enough to do both my top lashes and bottom lashes. Okay, so I think I got a lot of products out of that one dip, however I would usually apply more. Okay, so I'm just going to pop some lashes on off camera and I'll be back in a second. So I am back with my lashes applied. So this is the overall eye look with lashes and mascara. So lastly I just need to do my lips, and I thought for this challenge it would be fitting to use my Jeffree Star liquid lipstick in the shade Mannequin, because obviously it's got a dippy applicator. So that is my one dip, and I'm just going to apply this. Okay, and that is the lips applied. So this is the overall finished look. I think on the whole it's turned out really nice. I would say that I definitely needed some more foundation, and I definitely needed some more eyeshadow in order just to make this look the look 10,000 times better. However, overall, I don't think it turned out too bad. So that is the end of this video, guys. If you have enjoyed it, please smash a huge thumbs up, comment down below and hit the subscribe button, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!